I still remember the exact moment my world cracked open. I was standing in the glass conference room on the 14th floor, the city lights glittering behind me like distant stars. My team of 8 sat around the long table, tired but hopeful. We had just pulled another all-nighter to finish the quarterly report everyone said was impossible. And then he walked in. Mr. Richard Harlan, our regional director. Tall, sharp-suited, with that permanent smirk that never quite reached his eyes. He didn't even look at the presentation slides I had spent 3 weeks perfecting. He just glanced at the folder in my hands and laughed. A short, cutting sound that echoed off the walls. "This," he said, waving dismissively. "This is all you can handle." The words landed like ice water on my skin. I was 34 years old, a single mother who had given this company 7 years of my life. I had missed my daughter's school plays, canceled family dinners, and worked through fevers because I believed in loyalty. My team, my people, had done the same. We weren't just employees. We were a family who covered for each other, who stayed late because we cared. But in that moment, standing under those harsh fluorescent lights, I felt smaller than I had ever felt in my life. He assigned us the smallest, most insignificant client portfolio in the department. The safe one, the one no one fought for. Then he looked straight at me and said, "Stick to what you know, Elena. Some people just aren't built for the big leagues." I smiled. I nodded. I even thanked him. But inside, something in me shattered quietly. That night, I drove home in silence, tears blurring the streetlights. My daughter, Mia, was already asleep when I got in. I sat on the edge of her bed, brushing her hair from her forehead, and whispered to myself, "How much longer are we going to let them decide what we're worth?" I didn't sleep. Instead, I opened my laptop in the dark kitchen and started typing. Not another report for Richard Harlan. Something different. Something dangerous. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about climbing the ladder they had built. I was thinking about burning it down. The next few months became a masterclass in quiet humiliation. Richard made sure everyone knew we were the B team. He'd walk past our desks with his new favorites, the loud, flashy group he called the Sharks, and say things like, "See? This is what real talent looks like." Every small win we had was dismissed. Every idea we brought forward was too simple. He took credit for our strategies in front of the CEO and then blamed us when deadlines slipped because he kept changing requirements at the last minute. My team started breaking. Sarah, my best analyst, cried in the bathroom after he told her she was too emotional for this industry. Jamal stopped speaking up in meetings. Even quiet Priya, who never complained, whispered to me one evening, "Elena, I don't know how much more of this I can take." I felt their pain like it was my own. Every night I went home carrying their broken spirits along with mine. I would look at Mia and wonder what kind of example I was setting, teaching her to stay small, to accept disrespect, to smile while being erased. But something else was happening too. In the shadows of that disrespect, a fire was growing. We started meeting secretly, not in the office, in my tiny living room after Mia went to bed. We brought our own laptops, our own ideas, and our own anger. We stopped working on Richard's safe projects the moment the clock hit 6. Instead, we poured every extra hour into something new. A bold, modern approach to client management that combined AI tools with real human connection. Something Richard had called a cute fantasy when I first suggested it months earlier. The betrayal that broke me completely came on a rainy Thursday. I had stayed late to finalize our secret project proposal. When I went to the printer, I found Richard in his office with 2 of the Sharks, laughing as they looked at my slides, the ones I had saved on the company drive. He was planning to present them as his own team's idea to the board the next week. I stood there in the hallway, shaking, listening to him mock my words in that same condescending tone. This is all they can handle. That was the night I stopped being afraid. I called my team at midnight. 8 exhausted, heartbroken people answered. And for the first time, I didn't tell them to stay strong. I told them the truth. "We're leaving," I said, voice trembling but clear. "But we're not leaving with nothing. We're taking everything we've built, and we're going to make it ours." 6 months later, we launched Lumina Collective, not as bitter ex-employees, but as a fierce, passionate team that had turned pain into purpose. Our first client was the same one Richard had called too small for his sharks. Within 3 weeks, we delivered results that shocked even us. Word spread. Then bigger clients followed, then bigger ones still. Richard's department began to crumble. The safe portfolio he had trapped us with started falling apart without our quiet magic. Deadlines were missed, clients complained, and when the board started asking questions, they discovered that the innovative strategy Richard had proudly presented months earlier had actually come from the weak team he had mocked. The day he was called into the CEO's office, I was sitting in my new sunlit office across town, watching the city from a higher floor than he had ever given me. My phone rang. It was an unknown number, but I knew that voice the moment he spoke. "Elena, I need to talk to you." I let the silence stretch. Then I answered softly, "There's nothing left to say, Richard. You told us exactly what we could handle. Turns out, it was so much more than you could imagine." I hung up without waiting for his reply. Today, my team runs Lumina with dignity and fire. We work hard, but we also protect each other's light. Mia comes to the office sometimes after school. She sees her mother leading, creating, and never shrinking. If there's one thing I've learned through all the tears, the late nights, and the heartbreak, it's this: never let anyone put a ceiling on your worth. The people who mock you, belittle you, and try to keep you small, they're not defining your limits. They're revealing theirs. So if someone ever looks you in the eye and says, "This is all you can handle," smile. Say thank you. And then go build something so beautiful, so powerful, that it proves them wrong in the most graceful, devastating way possible. Because the best revenge isn't loud. It's becoming unstoppable. And living well, with the people who truly saw you when you were breaking, is the sweetest victory of all.